Next presentation is going to be hosted by Clement Esney, Michelle Freer, Tom Sparrow, as they unite a rare blend of entrepreneurial vision, user-centric digital strategy, and large-scale infrastructure expertise to shape responsible generative AI for equitable grant making. Clement is a purpose-driven AI strategist, the executive director of the BIPOC Foundation, where he drives inclusive economic empowerment through venture studios, angel networks, and impact-focused VC funds. As co-founder and COO of Denolia Corporation and a founding partner of Nexus Ventures and 8 Point Capital, he bridges policy, capital, and innovation to bridge sustainable businesses in mining to supply chain, social finance, and advises on digital resilience for Canada's nonprofit sector. Michelle, MA PMP, is a digital experience leader at MMAX and a doctoral candidate in generative AI. She brings deep experience in both public unity, transformation, and social impact technology, having previously worked on enterprise grant-making systems for leading global platforms supporting nonprofits and corporate philanthropy. With a background in portfolio strategy, UX, and organizational change, she leads cross-functional digital teams to enable AI-powered functionality that balances technical innovation with public trust. Her current work explores ethical personalization, responsible AI governance, and how digital systems can advance fairness in high-stakes decisions. We also have Tom, Chief Construction Officer for the City of Winnipeg, leverages AI-powered analytics, emerging quantum computing, and methods to enhance project delivery and risk mitigation. And together, they bring a holistic approach, combining strategic investment, digital design, and operational rigor to ensure generative AI frameworks advance fairness, accountability, and impact. So take it away.
Hey, okay, fantastic. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are joining us from this beautiful day. It's an honor to be presenting at this year's Southern Alberta AI conference. Artificial intelligence is transforming every sector, but without intention, it can also replicate the very inequities we aim to solve. Today, we're sharing how our concept stage system, FairGrantAI, is using generative AI to scale equity in grant making and offering a framework for building responsibly. I am Clement Esney, and alongside Michelle Freer and Tom Sparrow, we are the team behind FairGrantAI. We bring a mix of lived experiences, ethics, and digital strategy to help shape what responsible AI can look like in civil society. Grant decisions shape lives, but today they are shaped by bias as much as merit. FairGrantAI is here to change that. This quote right here captures our core belief in public interest work. Speed without care can cause real harm. FairGrantAI is about doing things differently, showing that AI can move thoughtfully, center equity, and most importantly, build trust where it matters most. What problem are we solving? The current grant-making process is deeply flawed. Disadvantaged communities often miss out on funding due to systemic bias. Reviews are slow, inconsistent, and rely heavily on human judgment, which introduces even more bias. And now, as AI is introduced for efficiency, there's a real risk that it will replicate or even worsen those same inequities. That's why FairGrantAI matters. We are taking a human-centered approach to AI. one that prioritizes equity over automation and uses technology to reduce bias instead of reinforce it. We're building FairGrantAI at the intersection of AI and philanthropy, where funding decisions deeply affect real communities. Historically, grant systems have favored organizations with polished proposals or strong networks. Not always. Not always those doing the most meaningful work. That bias is built into the data. If we are not intentional, AI can quietly reinforce those patterns, favoring urban, well-established organizations and overlooking grassroots or BIPOC-led initiatives. Because AI operates at scale, those inequities could grow very fast. FairGrantAI is designed to challenge that. We are embedding fairness from the start, ensuring equally strong applicants are treated equitably regardless of size, leadership, or geography. Without guardrails, AI can automate exclusion, but with the right design and oversight, it can help automate equity instead. Now, let's take a look at how we've structured the system to support that goal. As we design FairGrantAI, we evaluate its performance using two critical lenses: effectiveness and equity. At the unitary level, we rigorously measure overall accuracy, clarity of outputs, and reliability across diverse scenarios to ensure consistent, dependable results. Intersectionally, our analysis extends deeper, examining fairness at overlapping identities, particularly for groups such as BIPOC-led or rural nonprofits. Metrics like demographic parity and disparate impact thresholds help identify potential biases, allowing proactive correction. Ethically, we remain vigilant, continually assessing and addressing ethical implications embedded in our algorithms. Our ultimate aim is an AI system that consistently delivers equitable, transparent, and dependable outcomes, fully aligned with community needs and reviewer expectations. Now, let's take a quick look at the high-level architecture. Here is how FairGrantAI fits into the grant-making process from end to end. It begins when a nonprofit submits their application through the grant-makers portal. The system supports multimodal inputs, so applications can be submitted either in writing or verbally. If submitted by voice, the system transcribes the content so all applications can be processed consistently. This multimodal input processing happens before modal injections. The modal itself is text-based. From there, the application is analyzed by FairGrantAI, a ChatGPT model using RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. That means the model doesn't just rely on pre-training, it actively pulls in relevant policy documents, donor criteria, and scoring rubrics to generate ranked funding recommendation with plain language rationales. Before any recommendation moves forward, it passes through a critical layer, our fairness engine and human oversight checkpoint. This ensures recommendations are evaluated against equity standards, like treating similar strain applications equally and making sure underrepresented groups aren't unintentionally deprioritized. Reviewers have full visibility and can override or adjust any recommendation. Once approved, those recommendations appear in the donor dashboard, where teams can review, modify, or finalize funding decisions. And from there, grants are allocated to selected applicants. So, While AI helps streamline and scale insight, this system is built to amplify fairness, not replace human judgment. To ensure that FairGrant not only performs well, but does so responsibly, we've grounded it in a framework of fairness, oversight, and continuous learning. And that starts with our model card and governance foundation. I will now hand it over to my colleague Tom to tell us more about the architecture.
Thanks, Clement. When we talk about FairGrantAI, we're envisioning a meaningful partnership between technology and human compassion. Nonprofits submit their stories through text or voice, sharing their unique challenges and dreams. Our GPT model thoughtfully evaluates each application, offering initial recommendations with a focus on fairness and equity. But we understand technology alone isn't enough. Our fairness engine steps in to actively challenge biases, ensuring diverse voices are truly heard. Finally, we keep people at the heart of the process. A dedicated human review ensures every recommendation resonates authentically with community values. FairGrantAI doesn't replace human judgment. It enhances our ability to make thoughtful, equitable decisions together. FairGrantAI is fundamentally different because it prioritizes the human experience and values transparency at every step. We believe everyone deserves to understand how decisions affecting their community are made. So we offer clear, intuitive explainability tools like model cards and rationale traces. Our oversight framework, including an ethics committee, ensures that we proactively address biases and remain accountable. By embracing a human-centered design, we lower barriers, allowing nonprofits to apply through voice or simplified submissions, because equity thrives when everyone can participate. Ultimately, our commitment to equity-first metrics ensures fairness across all groups, empowering communities historically overlooked by traditional grant-making. In embracing AI, we must acknowledge potential pitfalls. At FairGrantAI, our priority is anticipating accidents before they happen, protecting the trust, integrity, and human relationships at the heart of grant making. To ensure FairGrantAI truly serves communities with compassion and reliability, we proactively identify and manage risks. We start by carefully examining scenarios where our technology might falter or unintentionally cause harm. These scenarios are thoughtfully grouped, recognizing that some risks could have deeper impacts on people's lives and trust. We prioritize efforts to focus first on areas of greatest human impact, not just technical ones. Finally, we implement robust strategies to remedy and prevent issues before they emerge, ensuring our AI remains aligned with the values of fairness and empathy. Because behind every grant decision is a community counting on us to do the right by them. As we introduce FairGrantAI, we must remain mindful of common patterns in technology-related accidents. Often, accidents occur because of unexpected interactions within increasingly interconnected systems. Relying too heavily on automation can reduce our human awareness, potentially leading to oversights when technology fails. Additionally, underestimating the complexity of scaling systems can create vulnerabilities we aren't prepared to handle. Lastly, we recognize emergent behaviors, unexpected outcomes arising from complexity, which remind us that technology is never truly predictable. By understanding these human-centric challenges, we are better equipped to safeguard fairness, reliability, and trust in every grant decision that we make. In our journey to responsibly scaling AI, we've embraced the LEAD, L-E-A-D framework, a thoughtful approach that keeps people at its core. Leadership guides us to anticipate challenges proactively, embedding human oversight through ethics committees and active review processes. Our ethical foundations ensure fairness, accountability, and transparency aren't just ideals, but are integral to every step. Robust AI governance policies provide structured protocols to consistently uphold integrity, even as the scale increases. Lastly, we intentionally design for inclusivity, ensuring diverse voices and experiences remain central. Together, these steps ensure FairGrantAI grows thoughtfully, ethically, and inclusively. When we navigate the complexity of AI in grant-making, transparency and clarity are crucial. The accident card is our response to this need. It's designed to humanize technology by openly acknowledging potential pitfalls. By clearly naming and categorizing each accident scenario and outlining its possible impact, we empower stakeholders to understand and address risks proactively. This approach isn't just technical, it's deeply human-centered, ensuring that as a funding scales, oversight and trust scale alongside. In essence, the accident card helps us move forward with integrity, confidence, and a shared commitment to equity and fairness in grant making. The accident card humanizes technology by transparently addressing risks, ensuring trust as our impact scales. Now, to detail how we operationalize these safeguards, I'm pleased to introduce Michelle, who will illustrate our thoughtful approach to maintaining equity and accountability throughout FairGrantAI. Michelle?
Thanks, Tom. This accident scenario is called layered failures, and it highlights what happens when multiple safeguards break down at once. Validation, transparency, and ethical oversight all fail, allowing bias to pass through the system. We used Swiss cheese theory to frame this, which assumes every defense has holes. But if all those holes line up, even just briefly, harm gets through. In grant making, that means biased or unethical funding decisions go unchecked. To prevent this, we implemented redundant protections across both technology and people, an equity scoring system, bias detection module, and transparency dashboard on the tech side, and ethics committee oversight, reviewer feedback loops, and appeals on the human side. The big takeaway: AI safety requires layered defense. No single checkpoint is enough to ensure fairness in high-impact systems like this. This accident highlights how applicants with disabilities, low literacy, or limited English proficiency can be disadvantaged by standardized text-based applications, even if they're otherwise qualified. This is a medium risk, high ethics concern, and it shows up in systems that don't account for diverse ways people express ideas. We approached this through an inclusive design lens, and what's important here is the dual layer of remediation. On the technical side, we adapted our NLP to handle diverse linguistic patterns, flag potential language bias, and align voice transcriptions. On the human side, we added human in the loop, review for voice submissions, trained reviewers on accessibility, and created an appeal path for applicants who felt unfairly scored. This card shows a key principle across FairGrantAI. Every risk we identify is met with both human and technical safeguards, because equity does live in both. When AI goes wrong in grant making, the impact isn't just technical, it's deeply human. We mapped accidents in FairGrantAI across 4 domains: operational delays that stall funding, social mistrust from overlooked communities, financial waste through misallocated grants, and emotional burnout for reviewers and applicants. These aren't glitches, they're systemic failures with real-world consequences. And that's why we didn't just design for detection, we designed for prevention at every level. Explainability isn't a single moment, it is a journey. From the very first interaction with the system, every stakeholder, whether it's nonprofit or a donor or an auditor, needs tailored visibility into how decisions are being made. We begin with transparency, and that means decision logs, model snapshots, and outputs that are reviewable, not hidden. If a controversy emerges, we don't hide behind the algorithm. We lean into explainability, clearly justifying how and why a recommendation was made. And that's how we built trust, by making the rationale visible, not just the result. And ultimately, we aim for accountability. This isn't a black box, it's a well-lit room. So once you've built explainability into the system, how do you make sure it stays accountable as it grows? That's where scalable governance comes in. We scoped a realistic cost model, about $115K per 1 million deployed, to fund the oversight tools and human involvement needed to govern the system responsibly. We also require ethics sign-offs from both applicants and reviewers, creating a shared expectation of accountability at every point in the process. Every decision is backed by a robust data and re-review system. So if an applicant appeals or an issue is raised later, we can go back to the exact version of the model, the data used, and the rationale logged. And finally, we've structured ethics committee to provide strategic oversight at scale. So as FairGrantAI grows, human judgment doesn't fall behind. Because communication alone isn't enough, you also need the infrastructure to back it up. So we'll leave you with 3 key takeaways, each rooted in what we've shown today, and each one something you can carry forward into your own AI work. First, AI can scale equity if it's designed responsibly. We showed how safeguards like explainability, human review, and governance can shift AI from just efficient to truly fair. You now have a framework to think about fairness at every phase of the system. Second, human plus model plus governance equals ethical efficiency. FairGrantAI was never about replacing people, it's about amplifying them. By combining AI with human checkpoints and ethical oversight, we scale decision-making without scaling harm. And third, our toolkit is reusable. From risk mapping to explainability, governance, and roadmap planning, we've offered more than a concept. You're walking away with a blueprint for building AI that centers equity, accountability, and trust. FairGrantAI shows that with the right mix of people, process, and purpose, AI can be a force for good, not just speed. This isn't the end, it's the start of a much bigger conversation, as our next step is to bring this concept into reality. We're starting with research partnerships, aiming to work with academic and industry collaborators to strengthen the FairGrantAI model. We're also issuing an open call for co-design, inviting nonprofits, funders, and grant-making experts to help shape the platform with us. Our next step is building a functional prototype to bring the key features and safeguards to life. And in the long run, we see the Fairness Engine becoming a plugin, something that can be applied to other public sector AI systems where equity and trust are critical. Thank you for joining us on this journey through FairGrantAI. We hope this presentation sparked ideas about how generative AI can be applied not just efficiently, but ethically, especially in high-impact domains like grant making. We didn't build FairGrantAI just to scale decisions, we built it to scale trust. And now we'd love to open the floor to your questions, whether it's about the design decisions or governance approach, or how you might adapt parts of this blueprint in your own work. And if you'd like to connect, collaborate, or continue the conversation with any of us, please scan the QR codes and you can find us on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.